Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02. Thank you for watching this video, and I have a new deck here I'm excited about. This is the one deck to rule them all sort of thing, keep it safe, keep it secret. This deck will work for Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, regardless of what cleaner you're playing with. I'm sort of breaking the rules, right? The rules that I've established, that when you're making a deck, you should take into consideration the context. What cleaner are you playing? What act are you playing? Are you playing with bots? Are you playing with randoms? Are you playing with actual teammates, friends who are going to be communicating and working together, things like that? Breaking some of those rules. Right, so here are the stipulations. This deck will not really work with bots. It can be sort of made to work with bots, but we're only really dipping our toe into the idea of being able to solo speed clutch things. We're sort of more just focused on this deck as a catch-all, and that it will work relatively well in 1, 2, and 3 of the X. It will work best with having human teammates, or with friends or randoms, and hopefully they're better than bots. Random teammates, their only job is to be slightly better than bots. That's it. So when I'm talking about this deck here, though, I'm gonna be referencing all 3 acts as far as the card ordering here. We still have context, but the context is not just one act; it's all 3 of them. Hazard Pay and Grenade Pouch as our first 2 cards. Hazard Pay can be substituted for Share the Wealth if you're playing with friends, teammates. If you want to be more of a team player, Share the Wealth is obviously a net gain for the team. But when it comes to money and playing with random people, I'd rather make sure that I always have enough copper to get all my supplies, rather than give copper to teammates who are dead. You know what I'm saying? We've all been there. We've all been there. So, Hazard Pay, Grenade Pouch. Grenade Pouch. Now, if I was like playing Evangelo, I would consider Double Grenade Pouch. Double Grenade Pouch still works. Double Grenade Pouch still works, but because we're really only sort of just dipping our toe into the solo clutch world, and we want to keep that ability as an option, the solo speed clutch, right? When all your teammates are dead, all hope, all eyes are on you, you can at least rely on your feet just a little bit. We want to keep that tool as strong as possible for as long as possible. So we're actually going to skip out on the double grenade pouch for a little bit. And just getting the normal grenade pouch here. And that's standard. This Hazard Pay and Grenade Pouch, or Double Grenade Pouch, I think those are the 2 powerful cards you can choose at the start of any of the acts. 1, 2, and 3. Act 4 doesn't really matter because you get all your cards automatically. But for Act 2 and 3, and probably future acts of a similar setup, has a copper card and Grenade Pouch. Most consistency you can probably ever get out of 2 cards. Ever. Right? So this is Resurgence. The interesting thing about Act 1 and Act 2 is that really, because of the Handyman and because of the Crossing, Act 1 and Act 2, you really should have, I would say, 2 or 3-ish movement-based cards in your first 5 slots. 2 to 3. I'm a big fan of saying that every single deck, no matter what your role is, should have 2 to 3-ish movement cards. There are some circumstances where you can go down to 1, things like that, depending on, maybe you're playing with teammates and friends and what their cards are and things like that. But the nice thing about Act 1 and Act 2 is that pretty much they open up the same. We're preparing for the Crossing on Act 1, so we're getting Fleet of Foot, Cross Trainers, and Superior Cardio. We're preparing for the Handyman in Act 2, so we're getting Fleet of Foot, Cross Trainers, and Superior Cardio, picked up both at the same time. Card 5 is the Crossing, and Card 5 is Handyman. Act 3, we don't necessarily need these things right away, and T5 is a little ways off. But we're fine picking these up early in Act 3, just because further afield is a big open map, so getting from holdout point to holdout point can be a real pain in the butt if a horde is triggered when you're in the middle of that cornfield, you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to just move and groove. The same is true for Blazing Trails. Big open map, getting from holdout point to holdout point with expediency is really, really, really convenient. The same is true again for Cabins by the Lake. Getting from cabin to cabin, getting caught out in the open can be a huge, huge deal. So having these 3 movement-based cards at the start of Act 3 is still really convenient. Then we just sort of sit on it, right? Because when it comes to Act 3, we're preparing for one of 2 things. Either we're running the mansion, or we're holding off on the staircase, and you'll see how we do that both, right? So first 5 cards, this is it. And by the time we get to card 5, we're ready to go for the crossing, we're ready to go for Handyman, and we're prepared to run the mansion on T5, but we still have the utility of being able to run around in those big open maps. Card 6, this is Clean Sweep for Act 1, we get Bomb Squad. This is where mutations pretty much consistently are hitting Ferocious, they got more health. Bomb Squad will keep your grenades in line with the increased health of all the mutations. Your grenades with the direct hit should still be one-shotting Tall Boys and Crushers, and really messing up Bruisers, pretty much almost killing them. Card 6 is Clean Sweep, or not Clean Sweep, is Pipe Cleaners for Act 2. Tight confined space. Basically, just same thing. If a tall boy shows up, you're going to have no time to react. It's going to be really tight quarters, so just throw a grenade, destroy it, it's out of your way. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, too, the explosive damage is quite nice because there's a lot of splash damage potential on pipe cleaners. So exploders and whatever, the punchy people, and throwing your own grenades or getting hit by a teammate's grenade and things like that. Kind of a nuanced thing, not a huge deal. But Bomb Squad will basically mean that if you only have 2 grenades at this point, make them count, and with Bomb Squad, they're definitely going to count. Then we pick up... Oh, and then for Act 3, this is Blazing Trails, where you want to do that holdout in the bathrooms at the infested swimming pool, the Nest swimming pool. Act 3, you're going to have the easiest time conserving your grenades because all those maps are so big and open that kiting and dodging tall boys really isn't a big of an issue. Act 1, sort of the same thing. Clean Sweep, you can pretty much save your grenades until you get to the liquor store rescue. We have the 4 random survivors on the walls. That's where you're going to be dumping probably both of your grenades. You really shouldn't need to use them getting up there. So just play smart. Hopefully your teammates are playing smart. If your teammates find themselves in a crappy situation, you can use the grenade to save them in Act 1, but I usually like to say that if you have a choice between throwing a grenade or getting hit by a tall boy, the correct thing to do is throw the grenade, because the grenade is cheaper than healing yourself. But is it cheaper to throw a grenade if your teammate's losing health? Some tough moral decisions going on here. Anyways, Bomb Squad for card 6, Clean Sweep. Makes sense for Clean Sweep, and for Pipe Cleaners, as well as Blazing Trails. Card 7 is Amped Up. Amped Up will trigger twice, guaranteed, trigger at least once, guaranteed, on Bookworms for Act 1, because you have to blow up the propane tanks going into the hotel at the end of Bookworms. If your team is slow to board up the library, Amped Up will then trigger as well. So that's nice. And also there's a lot of sleepers in the library of Bookworms, so there's a lot of opportunity here for Amped Up to trigger. On Act 2, Amped Up is Hinterland, which has a nest at the end. So guaranteed, you're going to be triggering Amped Up at the end. But what's also really nice about Hinterland and Amped Up is that before you get to the nest at the end of Hinterland, there is the flooded warehouse. And on Nightmare mode, that warehouse is almost guaranteed to have an alarm door on it. So if you don't have an extra toolkit, you're going to have to pop open that alarm door, and Amped Up will then trigger, and the flooded warehouse is one of the hardest sections of Hinterland, I think. So having the extra health for exactly that moment, I think is really, 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 really convenient. Now we get Amped Up for Act 3, which is Cabins by the Lake. Cabins by the Lake. Not a huge deal. Guaranteed horde with having to push the boat across the lake and things like that. Not a big deal. Amped up is going to be really, really important for Garden Party later on, and then later on in Act 3. But just Amped up works in literally all of the acts. It's just super convenient, easy to push in to a deck, and it's just health for the whole team. Now we're picking up double grenade pouch here. This is the Barroom Blitz for Act 1. And again, when it comes to holding off against the Horde, so long as you got a good corner and bullets in your clip, holding off the Horde, not really an issue. What ends up being an issue is dealing with mutations quickly enough before they damage the jukebox or before a tall boy gets on top of you. So being able to have an extra 2 plus 1, 3 grenades while having to hold off the Horde in the Barroom Blitz, really, really, really convenient. This is 2 more tall boys that you could deal with. Hopefully your teammates also have tools to allow them to deal with mutations as well. But you are doing your part as far as holding that off. In Act 2 now, we've entered Pipe Cleaners, Hinterland, and then Trailer Trashed. Double Grenade Pouch is a super universal. Nothing too crazy about Trailer Trash and Grenade Pouch specifically. Though if you end up looting the trailer park side of Trailer Trash, you're going to find yourself potentially getting trapped a lot inside of the trailer park. So having the grenades to blow your way out of a tough situation will be really, really, really nice. Basically, having double grenade pouch and grenade pouch will warrant you the opportunity to safely loot the trailer park if that's what you end up doing. And then for Act 3, we're just building up to T5. For double grenade pouches for the Garden Party. And so same thing here. Really, really, really convenient to have these extra grenade slots now. We're not so worried about the movement speed for Garden Party because it's really hard to sort of speed run your way through the maze, especially with human teammates following behind you. And really, the only thing that ends up killing you in the maze is a mutation, right? Dealing with the Horde, not a big deal. You're literally in a hallway the whole time, so holding off the Horde is really easy because everything is a choke point. What ends up killing you is a Reeker that pops around the corner, it's way too close, or a tall boy that shows up. Oh crap. Throw a grenade, bomb squad's on, we one-shot it, or get it super close that we can just throw the grenade, do most of its health, it's stun-locked for the grenade throw, bag dump it, you're good to go. So having the extra grenade pouches are actually going to be really clutch for Garden Party. Now we take a step back into still maintaining our ability to speed clutch if we need to. But also, what's really nice about Speed Demon is that we get the reload speed. Here we're now, I have to say, we are using an SMG. You should be hopefully preparing and building up and getting attachments for an SMG. You always want movement speed stock. 100% that's what you want. The rest of the attachments don't really matter. What SMG you use, that's your preference, doesn't matter. Here we're sort of compensating for the lack of movement speed from Double Grenade Pouch with Speed Demon, but we're also getting the extra reload speed. Reload speed is sort of this universal thing where it's going to increase your overall DPS versus mutations because it'll allow you to mag dump your gun, reload faster, and then continue mag dumping, so your sustained DPS will be slightly higher and allow you to potentially squeeze in an extra mag dump before that tall boy gets on top of you or on top of a teammate, things like that. But what reload speed is really nice for is if you're holding off lots and lots and lots of zombies. So long as you can keep shooting your gun, no matter what gun it is really, you can pretty much hold off the Horde, and so having the extra reload speed here is going to be really convenient with the person holding off on the stairs for T5. So for Act 3, if we're on T5, we have extra reload speed for dealing with the Horde, and we have 3 plus grenades for dealing with mutations, buying our teammates more time to find all the crates. For Act 2, this is Pipe Cleaners, Hinterland, Trailer Trashed. Speed Demon is then the Clog. The Clog is sort of not anything particular here, but we are preparing now for Broken Bird with Speed Demon because we need to maintain a little bit of movement speed, a little bit of speed clutch potential here, because if things go south while we're on Broken Bird, we're going to be running around a lot. But also too, when it comes to covering your teammates who are potentially hooking up the crate, This extra reload speed will help take the edge off as far as being an anti-horde person. And a reload speed will help you deal with the horde while standing out in the open, which that first crate on Broken Bird always is. So being able to mag dump a horde, kill all these zombies, reload really fast, and keep doing that would be really, really convenient. And then for Act 1, this is special delivery. The map right before the diner. Nothing particular here that we really need it for, but again, we need to compensate for the lack of movement speed. But also the reload speed is really nice because on special delivery you can sort of get caught out in the open sometimes because there's a lot of potential for extra hordes to be triggered on special delivery. That's the map where it's always dark and there's always snitches that can be triggered no matter what. But also, we're just sort of making sure we have enough movement speed so that when we get to Bad Seeds, Hell's Bells, and Abandoned, that we can run around those big open maps. Cold Brew Coffee. Act 1, this is the diner. Extra reload speed to deal with the horde. The use speed, though, is going to help us deal with Rolling Thunder when we get there. For Act 2, this is Broken Bird, and the use speed, again, is very convenient for dealing with the crates, hooking them up. So we can do everything. This deck is about doing literally everything. For Act 3, this is a Friend in Need, right? This is Broken. Act 3, this is T5. Friend in Need, making the grade. Oh, no. We don't have cold brew coffee. We don't have cold brew coffee for T5. Don't need it. For Act 3, cold brew coffee, we're picking it up on a Friend in Need. Just general reload speed and nice things like that. Like, I mean, cold brew coffee could fit literally into everything, so it's no big deal. But having cold brew coffee for Act 2 and Act 1, really, really convenient, especially for Act 1. Now we're getting these extra grenade damage here. We're sort of not a big deal for Act 1. Just in general, though, at this point, once you start hitting monstrous mutations, Bomb Squad plus improvised explosives will keep your grenades on pace again, allowing you to one-shot tall boys when they show up. But really, for Act 2, Card 11 is Heralds of the Worm. Now, we're not throwing super-duper mega grenades here. Hopefully you have some grenade upgrades. And if you do have grenade upgrades, between Bomb Squad, improvised explosives, and your grenade upgrades, you're going to be doing really, really well as far as basically bombing the Ogre if you need to. But this is why I say that these decks really don't work with bots only. We're really sort of hoping that we also have human teammates who are contributing in a significant way to dealing with the boss rush that is the end of Act 2. But if we really do have to grenade dump the Ogre, we have some grenades here that do pretty significant damage. 650 plus the Bomb Squad is whatever, 1300, and then that's multiplicative with improvised explosives. Your grenade should be doing close to 2,000 points of damage per grenade or something like that. Don't worry about the math. The math is not really that important. The point is we're building up our grenade damage down for Act 2 specifically. We'll get Demolitions Expert again for Act 2. Not a big deal for Act 1. And also, 2, Improvised Explosives and Demolitions Expert is also nice for Act 3 because once we get to the body dump, again, there's that Ogre that we need to kill after we pop all the nests. And so having our grenades at least be able to half health the Ogre, huge benefit, and hopefully we have teammates who are also helping us with this endeavor. But this allows us to, in Act 2 and Act 3, have grenades that can significantly impact quickly killing the bosses that are necessary to kill at the end of Act 2 and Act 3. Then we pick up Fire in the Hole. Fire in the Hole is nice for Abandoned, just to keep you nice and healthy. Abandoned is a really, really long map. And if you find yourself with some extra grenades left over at the end when you're running up the mine shaft, Fire in the Hole will give you that edge of survivability as well as movement speed to allow you to speed clutch your way up the mine shaft of Abandoned. But also for Act 2, now we're inside the church. This is Grave Danger. And there's a lot of friendly fire potential, splash damage, blah blah blah. Having to throw a grenade, and hopefully at this point you have tons and tons and tons of flashbangs to just flashbang dump the door for a Grave Danger. And this will pretty much make sure that Even if you're taking damage, between amped up and fire in the hole, you're pretty much invincible so long as you're throwing grenades and have the money to do so. Card 13 for Act 3 is Body Dump, and Fire in the Hole is insane on Body Dump. It's the best card for Body Dump. Every single T5 grenade, and there's like a gazillion of them on Body Dump, counts for Fire in the Hole. So even if you end up not having grenades or end up grenading your way out of tough situations because you keep getting caught off by like tall boys or something like that, right? Fire in the Hole will trigger on the T5 grenades, and so long as you have grenades, you have infinite health and tons of extra movement speed. So you can grenade dump the ogre, get it half health, go find some T5 grenades, and just keep playing, keep doing your thing until eventually you win. Now at this point, Headband Magnifier and Multi-Tool, we don't care about for Act 2 and Act 3, but these are essential to allowing you to beat Act 1. So many times have I gotten to Rolling Thunder in Act 1, and I go in the chat. Can you hear me typing? Right, I go into the chat, my gamers, and I go, who has use speed? Who has use speed? Nobody. Nobody at all. Of the probably the 100 times that I have gone to Rolling Thunder, probably not that many times, probably the 50 times that I've gone to Rolling Thunder, maybe only twice did somebody go, I have use speed. I'm ready for this. I've been training for this moment. And I go, you go, dude. You go, dude, right? So again, these decks are about dipping our toe into the solo clutch ability here, but not with bots, with regular people. These decks are about being able to contribute something in literally all 3 acts. And so if we get to Rolling Thunder and nobody has use speed, you have it. You have the use speed. You can do it. Now, if you get to end of Act 2 and Act 3, don't pick up Headband Magnifier if you don't want it. In Act 2 and Act 3, Headband Magnifier is good for picking up teammates who are down, which can be clutch. So if you're into that, go for it. But otherwise, just float these 2 cards. If you get to the end of Act 2 and Act 3, float these 2 cards, and then you can choose between having extra stamina or extra ammo. Not the best, but if you don't end up dying at all in Act 2 and Act 3, you never see these cards anyways. So yeah, this is it. This is the one and done. 1, 2, and 3. This deck, I think, it's not as good as the solo clutch deck that I've made for each individual act, but this deck I think is solid. It allows you to have money, have extra grenades, have movement speed, heal your team, heal yourself, grenade dump bosses if you need to, and have extra reload speed and movement speed to deal with the horde and things like that. And you can do the field cannon at the end. It does everything. Let me know what you think of this deck. This is the Lazy Man deck. I think I'm going to quick play into Act 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't matter what character you play in this deck with. Doesn't matter. You know, each character will bring its own strength to the deck. So play it what you will. You know, do what you will. You do you, boo. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the future.